Welcome to Superstar Spotlight. I am one of your hosts, Jax. This is Ritz. We're going to talk about Becky Lynch today. Let's talk about it. All right.
So we go back to August of last year. For the record, with the Superstar Spotlight, we are only going to focus on main roster material done with these superstars. It's a new segment we're going to have. And it's kind of picking superstars that are, in our opinion, not used properly
Correct.
to their full potential.
Correct.
That being said, go back to August of 2015. The Divas Revolution.
Hate that name. It's
But
okay.
it's what it was.
That's what it was. Hated that name.
What Stephanie
It's okay.
called it. She called it the Divas Revolution.
Right.
And on that night, you had Charlotte, Becky Lynch, and Sasha Banks all debut.
Mm-hmm.
And you had Team PCB, which was Charlotte, Paige, and Becky Lynch.
Yep.
We kind of fast forward through that storyline because Becky was an integral part of the Team PCB, versus Team Bad versus Team Bella. She was a very integral part in that. They all kind of played a good role.
Right.
Then we get to roughly October time frame.
Okay.
When they start building for the Night of Champions run, Charlotte versus Nikki.
Right.
And Becky kind of gets thrown off to the wayside at that moment. That moment that Becky's not doing anything on TV, she's not really wrestling.
Right.
Charlotte's got the spotlight.
Of course.
Charlotte wins the belt at Night of Champions, which we were at.
Mm-hmm.
The next night on Raw, Paige kind of turns on.
Right.
Fast forward, I guess it was what? A month and a half, not even, right before the Royal Rumble.
Right for the Raw.
Because they fought. Becky Lynch and Charlotte fought at the Rumble.
Yes.
And Becky lost, obviously. And then Sasha came out that night.
Mm-hmm.
That's when started the three of them building to WrestleMania.
Right.
Which was an amazing triple threat match.
Very good match.
After WrestleMania,
No, you can't skip that. Becky gets pinned.
well, yeah, I'm sorry, Becky does
At
take the
WrestleMania.
pinfall
She
at
takes the pinfall
WrestleMania.
at WrestleMania. No, she takes a submission at WrestleMania.
Yes,
Yeah.
she does tap out at WrestleMania,
Mm-hmm.
and then just kind of falls off to the wayside.
Right.
If you're in charge of booking Becky Lynch, what do you do differently the night after Night of Champions?
Okay. Before I do that, I will say that it is smart that now they're implying that she is the top diva of SmackDown.
Mhm.
I appreciate that. What I don't appreciate is that she's been feuding with Natalya, who's been beating her ass. So how can she be classified as the top star of the women's division in SmackDown if she's losing to Natalya, who you didn't say was the top star? Blows my mind. Now, the problem that I have with the Divas Revolution, I understand why it was there. It was supposed to be this huge, in-your-face, boom, women's wrestling is back, right?
Right.
My problem with it is that you brought up three names at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, it's going to be a small reference to NXT, but she was just getting big in NXT.
Right.
Becky was. And you brought up Sasha, who was already way over. You brought up Charlotte, who was already way over. And you got Becky, who in the NXT brand was just getting over.
Mhm.
So when she was brought up to be a part of a team, she was already going to be on the back burner.
Right.
And then you put her as this support system for most of PCB because Paige being a former Divas champion, Charlotte becoming a Divas champion, Paige turning on him, and Becky's like, I don't know what's going on. I don't understand. Then Charlotte fights Paige, beats Paige. Then Charlotte starts cheating to win, which is fine. I have no problem with that. What I had a problem with, and this is what really set it downhill for me, they played Becky to be a fool. They made her look incredibly stupid. You know that your friend is cheating. You know your friend's doing all these things, but you're just going to roll with it for weeks. For weeks. Like, I think she did a rematch with Paige, right? I think they did two matches.
So.
And if that's not the case, it's whatever. They did a month and a half of her just playing dumb. And I don't like when they make the face look stupid like that.
So what you're saying is the night after Night of Champions, going back to my more or less my original question with this, you're saying once Charlotte and Paige start fighting, don't have Becky be as dumb.
don't let her be stupid like that.
So the first night she cheats to win, that's when you have the hey, what are you doing?
Yeah, the hey, what the hell, and then you build it up that way. Like the whole we're still friends, whatever thing. Like I feel like Becky should be way more sketchy, like way more skeptical of what Charlotte's doing. Like, hey, you cheated. I don't like the side of you, bro. Like, I'm gonna step back and kind of like I'll tell you, hey, you need to change, but I'm not gonna be stupid here and pretend like you're not gonna possibly turn on me. Because a first reaction would say, if she's trying to cheat to win now, she's getting desperate, she might backstab me. Like in any other situation that they had a smart face with someone who's turning heel, that's where they would have went with it. Becky didn't get that. Becky got crapped on the entire time of that feud. Then she finally gets her match with Charlotte, loses.
Mm-hmm.
Then she gets the WrestleMania, loses. Then she's the highlight of SmackDown, loses. Name a match that Becky won that was incredibly important. Even moderately important in her WWE run. She battled Emma. I think she beat Emma once out of 3 times, something like that. But Emma wasn't a big name. Where's Emma now? Emma was growing. I don't know where she's at now.
She's actually out with a back injury.
Even worse. So when Emma goes out with a back injury, you have nothing for Becky now. So you gave her a heel Natalia, who they blamed Becky for the feud turn. Now, this could be all a big build-up to the hero turn where she can actually get over hardcore with the audience because she's been crapped on for so long.
Didn't Becky beat Natalia on SmackDown? Not this week, but last week?
I don't even think they fought.
No, I think they did, because that's when all the girls came out. Alexa Bliss, Naomi, Carmella, and Eva Marie. They all came out after a Becky Lynch-Natalia match. I think.
No, that's not what happened. So, Becky was going down to the ring and got attacked by Natalia.
So the match hadn't started yet?
Match had never started.
Okay.
So, she never beat Natalia. She hasn't beat Natalia yet. And I'm sure the next pay-per-view, they're going to rematch. Whatever. I hate when they do that. Back-to-back matches. It's the same crap. But she hasn't won an important match in God knows how long. I don't think she's won an important match in WWE since her run. Like, I don't think she ever beat Paige. If she beat Charlotte, it was like one of those, I beat Charlotte 1 week and then Charlotte beat me the next 4 weeks. And then she fought Sasha and it ended in a double countout or a double KO, whatever, double pin. That's what it was, which led up to the triple threat. She has not won anything in singles that's relevant.
What would you do? Where do you change the booking of Becky Lynch? And which of the matches is she still in? Which of the matches is she not in?
Right. I wouldn't have brought her up the same time that you brought up Sasha and Charlotte. I wouldn't have. I would have brought her up later, only because it would have given her a chance to get more over with the fans at NXT, who are the fans that are still watching WWE. Mm-hmm. So she would have already had a following.
Right.
When Sasha got up there, she had a following. When Charlotte got up there, she had a following. And that's huge, because the hardcore fans will follow who they care about. Look at Finn Balor, look at Bayley.
Right.
They're going to get following hardcore. So you bring Becky in. Let's see, Charlotte won the title at Night of Champions.
Correct.
Okay. I would have brought Becky in around the Royal Rumble. And between Night of Champions to the Royal Rumble, I would have had her starting beef with Sasha. And when you bring Becky in, Becky would have got a pop. Becky didn't get a pop when she first really came onto the scene.
No.
She didn't. As compared to Sasha and Charlotte,
she got a pop because they were excited to see NXT.
Right. Because it was one of those, oh my God, it's happening. Like, other than that, she didn't get anything. So you've got her starting off in a bad position anyway. I would have brought her up at the Royal Rumble or even Fastlane if you want to really wait. Bring her up at Fastlane.
You waited that long.
I would have waited that long. Only because...
When does she come out in your booking?
I would have had... You would have still had the part of Becky and Charlotte are still friends. Or horsewomen. Still friends. Charlotte's been doing all this cheating to win up until the Royal Rumble. Cheats to win again. Saying that she's beaten everybody, blah, 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 whatever. She gets another match with Charlotte, in which case she cheats. Or not, she gets another match with Sasha, or Paige, whoever, and cheats to win again. Then you have Becky come out and confront her, to where she gets a good hit on Becky, and Becky just wrecks her shot. Why? Because now you have Becky, who's a face, attacking a huge female heel. Because at this point, Charlotte's going to have all the heat.
Right.
And all that heat's going to rub off to Becky in a positive way. Now you've got Becky versus Charlotte, and this is if you did it at the Royal Rumble. I said Fastlane, but this happened at the Royal Rumble after the Royal Rumble match that she has. You had those two duke it out at Fastlane. Charlotte cheats to beat Becky at Fastlane. Now, from the Royal Rumble to Fastlane, she's beaten Sasha, she's beaten Becky. That still leads up to the triple threat at WrestleMania.
So you keep that the same.
You keep that the same. Because you cheated this person, she's pissed. You cheated this person, she's pissed. Well, let's have a #1 contenders match to see who fights at WrestleMania. You still have the double pin. Lead them up to WrestleMania. There you go. Becky's got some steam behind her.
So really,
Sasha's got steam behind her.
really, the only thing you're changing is Becky's debut.
Exactly.
Because
the debu's everything.
Because to be fair to Becky Lynch, she wasn't really relevant up until December timeframe.
Ish. And even
then, that's when they started building for the Rumble.
Right. And even then, she wasn't incredibly relevant. She was relevant enough to where we can put you in the triple threat at WrestleMania and people will cheer you.
Right.
Not as much as Charlotte, or not as much as Sasha, but you'll get cheered. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what they missed out on. And I look at it now with all the bookings that they do, and it makes sense when certain people debut, and then sometimes I'm flabbergasted.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel bad now because she has so much potential. She has so much charisma. Her entrance is awesome. Her music is awesome. Her finisher, Disarmer, I love it. It's simple. It's UFC based, kind of, and it only kind of, and it works.
Right.
Like, she's a little bit slower than some of the other female wrestlers, but overall, Becky's a star, hands down.
I'm so excited. I got so excited when she got drafted to SmackDown because it's going to take her and put her in her own light.
Right.
It removes her from the Sasha, Charlotte, potentially Nikki Bella.
Right.
If Nikki goes to Raw, those high-profile divas, women, and puts them over there, and it's got her over here, and she's got the young crowd. She's got the Alexa Bliss, the Naomi, who's been out of action for a long time.
Yep.
Carmella, Eva Marie, and Natalia's still over there as the veteran woman wrestler.
It's very important that they're feuding right now.
Right.
That's why.
Because it's almost like a female passing of the torch.
Right.
Which is something that
hardcore fans get, casuals won't.
Right. But you almost go back and think about it, and there was never really a female passing of the torch match going through the years. I mean, some could argue that Mickie James and Trish was a passing of the torch match, but there's no match that stands out in my mind as, here's a woman's passing of the torch match.
AJ and Paige was the most recent one.
I don't count that as a passing of the torch necessarily, because 2 months later, Paige came back and beat her.
And AJ came back.
I'm sorry, AJ came back and beat her.
2 months, was it?
It wasn't long.
Huh.
So I don't. Yes, that was kind of like the beginning of it. That was
no. It was like a year.
Was it?
Yeah. Paige had a solid run with that title, and then AJ came back to a huge ovation, and convinced her to put the title on the line the same way that she did a year prior. And it was a passing of the torch because AJ was on top of the world, and then here comes this newbie. And the newbie goes on top of the world, and then she comes back and says, what? And it takes it from her that way.
Yeah. But even still, it was kind of a small passing of the torch.
Yeah, it was.
So for Becky Lynch, for me personally, what I would have changed is I probably wouldn't have had her wait till the Royal Rumble. I still would have given her that same build-up going into the Royal Rumble. I'd have her come out on like a Raw or a SmackDown where nobody's expecting her to come out.
Right.
Nobody's expecting anyone to come out as she's cutting this promo about how she's beaten, Nikki Bella, all these other divas in these squash matches when she's cheating to win. They're squash matches,
right?
But she's still cheating to win,
right?
And then out walks Becky, and that's when Becky goes, "I have a problem with what you're doing. This is not who you are. Seems to be the only way I'm going to get through to you is we're going to fight."
Right.
You go into the Royal Rumble. You have Becky come this close. Charlotte cheats to win.
With or without Ric Flair. All my stuff is talking about without Ric Flair.
All mine is.
I feel like there's more heat.
The Ric Flair kind of killed the angle for me, and we'll talk about that, I'm sure, another time.
Yeah.
But I think that's what you do. And then you kind of keep them going in the fast lane. You still have Sasha come out after the Royal Rumble match. That's what you do.
Right.
They build up the fast lane as, all right, I want to fix... Becky's saying, well, I want to show my friend the error of her ways. Sasha's like, screw that, I want the belt.
Right.
We still have the triple threat at WrestleMania because it was a great match. A lot of people kind of dog on Becky in being in that match because of how it was booked.
Right.
Leading up to it.
Right.
And then you keep everything the same moving forward.
Right.
So that's kind of what I think would work best for Becky Lynch. I'm very, very excited to see what they do right now.
Mm-hmm.
I know that Natalia's kind of turned her focus a little bit to Carmella, from what I've noticed.
Yeah.
And from what I've heard, Eva Marie's supposed to be pushed as the top heel, which is perfect. It's legitimately the best thing they could do with Eva Marie right now.
Right.
Because nobody likes her.
God dang, I hate her.
Her entrance is tough.
Her entrance is the best diva entrance of
I agree, but it's still tough for me to get through. But
right.
Before we get sidetracked, they push her to be the top heel. You have the top babyface on the roster versus the top heel on the roster for the SmackDown Women's Belt. Whether that's at SummerSlam.
Is that confirmed?
Daniel Bryan said in a radio show there were new belts coming.
That's what I thought. Okay.
Whether that's at SummerSlam or we have a build-up leading to Backlash.
Right.
Which is SmackDown's first pay-per-view, it's still the greatest thing you can do.
Right.
And if you're smart, you put it on Becky.
Right. You have to. You almost have to.
Yeah, you put it on Becky.
You don't want her to lose any of her legitimacy.
And you roll with that into Survivor Series when you could potentially put it on Alexa Bliss. Not saying you give Becky a short run, but at the same time, you need to build the other girls as faces and heels and have them have a legitimate beef over something. That was Superstar Spotlight with Becky Lynch.
Becky.
That's Jax. I'm Ritz. Please like, share, and subscribe. Follow us both on Twitter. Follow us both on Facebook.
Yes, sir.
Tune in next time as we're going to cover, I think the next one we want to do is Baron Corbin.
Baron Corbin.
Baron Corbin.
That guy, man.
All right.
Later.